Working. Is it working?
I'm just shocked by the next, I was gonna say that.
Did you hear her say that? Probably not. Yeah, we usually don't. I just wanted to let you know that that's what happened. Yeah. What, can I get your reaction, because you seem a little frazzled?
Yes.
So like if I'm watching this video, whoops. So like, it's okay. The student's head is down. And you can't see him over here, but he's not paying attention at all. This person's messing with that person. He's like half paying attention. And you're saying a lot of good things. I wrote, right here, you said this is the empirical rule, which is like kind of an important thing, right? You said this is the empirical rule, but like nobody really wrote anything down, half the kids are paying, half the kids weren't really paying attention. So the positive is that you're doing a lot of things right as a teacher. As a teacher up here on the board, you're teaching. That's what you're doing your job. You are doing the job of teaching. You are, and you're saying the right things, you're saying the right questions. It's exactly like you said, we just have to get and keep the students' attention. So what I want to focus on is this 4-step model here. So set the expectations. So when I come in, next time I come in, I want to see you set the expectations. Next step is check for understanding. How are you, have you used checks for understanding with giving directions?
No.
I would try that.
Okay.
We do it all the time with content. Just like you said, what's the empirical rule? No, you said, what's the standard deviation? How do you know? You did the check for understanding. But doing the check for understanding with expectations helps enforce it without using consequences. The more we can use positive reinforcement to enforce our rules, the more you're going to have compliance. The more you just focus on consequences, like for example, a lot of core members, like when they ask for help with management, it's usually like, I need help with my consequences. But in reality, we need to work on the first 2 steps of the 4-step model, and then you don't even need your consequences as much. And that's the goal. So set the expectations. I'll give you an example. I have a core member that says, uses 3, 2, 1. All eyes on me in 3, 2, 1. And then they were kind of still talking, and she just kept going. Instead of saying, all eyes on me in 3, 2, 1, just like that, you would say, all eyes on me in 3. I see Joanne's eyes. Lacey is paying attention to me. Lacey has her eyes on me. I need everyone quiet in 2. Joanne's quiet. I'm just saying the same thing. Lacey has her eyes on the board. All eyes on me in 1. Tell me what yours usually sounds like. You said you have a countdown as the 5. Mm-hmm. What does that sound like for you?
I usually say, may I have your attention? Usually I'm up on the front. May I have your attention in 5? If I see that the people in the front are paying attention, I start walking towards the people that are not.
Okay.
Giving me their attention.
Yep.
So I would say 4.
That's good proximity.
3, 2, and just walk around.
So
by 1 I come back. By 1 I'm back in the front, or whatever I need to be to explain something. It works for most classes except for 2.
Second period.
Yes.
And which other one?
And sometimes for 3rd or 4th it doesn't happen. But most of them it works. Even when I just call them out. That table in the back. You guys need to be quiet. I'm talking. And they stop. Not second period though. There's just so many of them. So many everywhere. I always have like at least 4 students just working on my desk.
Have they mentioned that they're going to even out the classes, or are you just going to be like that? Have you mentioned that you have a class of 40?
I used to have 45.
Okay.
I asked for more desks. I mean, that's the least I could do. Because I told my principal, I was like, okay, I don't mind having 40 students, but can you at least give me chairs? Because if those teachers, if I have right these 4 chairs there in my classroom, if she ever needs them for the computers for her students, I don't know what I would do. Like, I have every other teacher's desk chairs in my room.
Yeah.
So
I'm not okay with that because it's not good for the kids.
it's not. And
So,
I actually have students. I have this one girl that came and talked to me. She's trying to switch out of my class. She can't learn that second period. And I'm like, I don't blame you. I would want to do the same thing.
so we're definitely going to work to make it better, but definitely advocate. And next time if you have a conversation, I mean, we're first year teachers, so we don't want to, cause a rampage. But just avoid saying things like I'm okay with it because you're not okay with it.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. And I know you know that.
Yeah.
I know you know that.
Yes, but I also like the thing happening in Westside is the other teacher that was supposed to be teaching Hollywood 2 quit 2 days before school started. So those students still have us up. So I feel bad, like, tell them I don't want all these 40 kids when there isn't another teacher there. If there was another teacher, I would say, like, you need to, like, remove at least 5 students. But because I know there isn't another teacher that teaches algebra 2, I can't just, like, kick them out,
I got you. Let's use the class I was in to practice this 4-step model, perfect it, and then we can fix this second period. 40 students or not, we're gonna get a hand on this. So, let's say the goal for, because I'll be in California. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Wish you could go. By the time I come back, that you can perform the 4-step model with that 8th period class, and the students are, let's say, 80% of students are compliant and on task. Is that a feasible goal?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna write these down. So October 11th, 80% of students. 80% of students are compliant and on task after first directions given. And 100% of students are compliant and on task after the second time. How's that sound? Okay. 4-step model. Expectations, check for understanding. So you would say, all eyes on me in 3. I see Juwan's eyes. I need nobody talking in 2. Lacey is looking at me without talking. Tracking the speaker in 1. I see Juwan's eyes. 0. Nigel, this is your first warning. Anything after this is a level 2. Right now I just did the call to attention, so I did the expectations. I'm expecting the eyes. Check for understanding during the call isn't really what you're supposed to do, but I used the positive narration and I used the consequences. And then you start giving the direction. First you have to have their attention. Number 1, you cannot give them directions without their attention, because then they're not going to hear what you're saying. You're going to give them a consequence. They're going to get mad because they didn't know that was, I mean, if they weren't paying attention to you, then they don't know the expectation. So if they get the consequence, then they feel frustrated because they don't understand why they got it. Which technically is my fault as a teacher. It's my fault. If I let them talk while I was talking, and then I give them a consequence, that's my fault. Because I was the one who let them talk. Should they be talking? No.
So what if there's like 6 students talking?
Give me the situation. You're talking about like while you're teaching?
I'm trying to get back, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like, it's like conversations. What do you do?
So, you will never get 100% without using the consequences at first. So you do the call to attention, you narrate the behavior. The call to attention is going to get, let's say, 50% of the students to look at you. That's 50%, we still have another half class to go. Positively narrating is going to get another 20%, along with the proximity control that you do with walking around, that's going to get another 20%. So now we're at 70% of students. Consequences is going to get another 20%. You start giving out consequences. That's only like 1 or 2 students left that you might need to give a second consequence to. If you have a call to attention and you use your teacher voice, you have to have a teacher voice. You gotta be you. Be the adult. They need you. You love those kids. What do those kids need? What do they need? From you. What do they need from you?
I don't know.
They need a teacher, right? They need you.
Yes.
They need you. They need that voice. They need that attention getter. They need that so that students don't come up to you anymore and say, I need to go somewhere else because I can't learn in you. Because it might end up being your other classes. And let's say next year you don't have honors classes, so it's all standard. So then it's going to be harder. You're going to have more classes that you need this 4-step model for. The call to attention, use the positive narration, and then use the positive, I said that already, and then the consequences.
Okay.
That's the first step, get their attention. Then you give the directions. This is what you're going to be doing. You're going to have a sheet of paper on your desk. Rosie, where's the sheet of paper going to be? On my desk. Good. You're going to have a sheet of paper on your desk. You're going to put your once you get that sheet of paper, you're going to write down question 1. Charcoal, once you get your sheet of paper, what are you going to do? Write down question 1. Good. Once you write down question 1, you're going to turn to your partner and talk for 20 seconds about your answer to question 1. Bruce, what are we going to do after you get your sheet of paper and write down question 1? We're going to talk to my partner for 20 seconds.
Hi, ladies.
And then ask
How are you going?
Corey. Corey, can you repeat the directions for me? We're going to,
Yeah?
what was it? I forgot. I'm just making this up off the top of my head. We're going to get out a sheet of paper on our desk, put our name, we're going to write question 1, and we're going to talk to our partner for 20 seconds. Any questions? Go. And then as soon as they go, you do the positive narration. I see Corey's getting out his sheet of paper. Charquella is writing down question 1. Maybe if you have a positive incentive system with tickets or something, or points, I don't know if you have that, that would be the time to use that. And if you don't have somebody following directions, you give the consequence.
Okay.
So we did the expectations, we did the checks for understanding as we were going, right? Don't give them all the directions and then say, what are we doing? Because then it's like, you just gave them a bunch of, it's just like with math. You give them a bunch of information and then do a check for understanding, they're going to be lost. Same thing with the expectations. Let them know exactly what you expect. Check for understanding as you're going along, and then use your positive incentives and consequences. How are we feeling about that? Do you have any questions?
No, not yet.
Okay. I want you to practice one. With me.
Okay.
I'm gonna write a scenario. Students are doing a think, pair, share. And then you can call me for the checks for understanding, but just know once you're doing class, call different people, obviously. But I'll be your student. Okay, so just give me the directions for a think, pair, share. So you're just gonna, the first 30 seconds, students should be thinking on their own. They're looking at the PowerPoint. Let's say there's a question on the PowerPoint. You want them to think about an answer to the question on the PowerPoint. After the first 30 seconds, you're going to say go, and then students are going to turn to the person next to them and share their answer for 30 seconds. So for the first 30 seconds, they're thinking about the answer on their own. You're going to say go. The next 30 seconds, share with the partner. The last 30 seconds, you're going to come back together and share out. So give me those directions as if I were your students.
I'm sorry, hold on. you're looking at the PowerPoint,
Mhm.
30 seconds is one